Hello kids, hope you all are doing well. In this video, we will be looking at a Form 4 ICT lesson which is allocated under the first term. It's about digital devices. Page number 4 to 15 in your reading book. This is our lesson plan. We are going to discuss about different types of digital devices throughout the video. First of all, we will see what are digital devices. Digital devices are pieces of hardware that use computers or microcontrollers. They are found anywhere in our digital world. They can connect and work together to give us the data we need. Digital devices are always developing. Here onwards, we are going to discuss about different types of digital devices. We are dealing with many types of digital devices in our day-to-day life. They range from microprocessors to very powerful mainframe computers. Let's see what they are. In the very first picture, you can see mainframe computers. Mainframe computer is a large, powerful computer that can do a lot of complicated jobs quickly and concurrently. Usually, this type of computers are used by large-scale organizations for critical applications such as statistical data processing, bulk data processing, and enterprise resource planning. The second picture shows microprocessors. Microprocessor is an integrated circuit which incorporates core functions of a computer's central processing unit. They are used to control devices. Same as a computer, it takes data as input, processes them and provides an output. We can see microprocessors in washing machines, televisions and many other home appliances. Personal computers are a kind of digital devices. They are common in homes and offices. Personal computers come in many different shapes and sizes such as desktops and laptops. Here, under the personal computers, we are discussing about desktops. Desktops have more space for components. Users are able to upgrade or add additional components to it. Upgrade means that we can make our computer better and able to do more things. Time to time, our operating system provides new features to our computer. So we can upgrade our computer to make it better. A desktop computer needs to have peripheral devices connected to it, such as keyboard, monitor, mouse, sometimes printer, scanner, likewise. With the development of the technology, today we can see computers called all-in-one computers. The only difference is the number of components. While desktop computers are comprised of the computer case plus a separate monitor. All-in-one computers combine the display and the computer into one package. This consolidation gives the all-in-one computer system a smaller overall profile than a desktop computer system. Here, look at this. You can clearly see the difference between desktop computers and all-in-one computers by looking at this picture. You can see the desktop computer contains a computer case and keyboard and a mouse. But in all-in-one computer, we cannot see a computer case because all-in-one computers combine the display and the computer into one package. Now we are going to discuss about laptops. Laptops include a keyboard, a screen, a trackpad, or else we can say a touchpad, and a rechargeable battery. Having these features means that they can be taken away from the desk. That means a laptop can be considered as a portable device. There are some laptops called desktop replacement. They are larger than other laptops as well as having a bigger and better quality screen and higher performance level. Here you can clearly see the physical difference between laptop and desktop replacements. The larger one is a desktop replacement and the smaller one is a laptop. The last subtopic under the personal computers is single board computers. A single board computer is a complete computer built on a single circuit board with microprocessors, memory, input or output, and other features required for a functional computer. Raspberry Pi Zero is a very common example for single board computer. The unit itself costs very little and it uses micro SD card as its storage. Single board computers are commonly used in educational systems, embedded systems, etc. Mobile phones is the second digital device type that we are discussing. I am pretty sure that this will be a very common and very familiar example for all of us because we are frequently using mobile phones in our day-to-day life. As we all know, mobile phones use a SIM card to connect to a specific mobile phone network. The SIM card can be used to identify the subscriber to a mobile phone network. In Sri Lanka, we have different mobile phone network providers such as Dialog, Mobitel, Airtel, likewise. So, the SIM card helps us to identify who is the subscriber of the mobile phone network. Specialist phone is a kind of mobile phone that are designed for a very specific target market. They provide specialist features to their users with the functions that meet particular needs. For example, some mobile phones have an emergency button that is linked to a list of emergency contacts. When this button is pressed, the phone will call each person on the list until someone answers. In this picture, you can see Alto 2 talking phone. This is a specialist mobile phone which is designed for blind and partially sighted people. Our next subtopic is smartphones. Smartphones are small computers with Wi-Fi and mobile phone connectivity. They allow their users to make phone calls and access the internet. They also include features of other devices such as cameras, media players, and handheld game consoles. I am sure that you all have experienced these facilities with your mobile phones. Smartphones have a more advanced operating system than other mobile phones. Further, we can download applications, or else normally we are calling as apps. We can download them in order to customize our smartphones with entertainment, educational and business features. Almost all smartphones use a touch screen to allow their users to input information. And also it uses a virtual keyboard to enter text, numbers and other type of characters. As we discussed, smartphone combines so many features for us. Because of that, it uses more power than other types of mobile phones. This means smartphones have a shorter battery life and we need to charge it regularly. The next type of digital device is tablet. Tablets are bigger than usual smartphones, but they have similar features. For an example, same as our smartphone, a tablet device has a touch screen to input information. We can download apps to the tab, and it has Wi-Fi connectivity to provide the internet access. Some tablet devices have SIM card slots to allow internet connectivity using the mobile phone network, so that they can be online when they are not within the range of a Wi-Fi signal. Here, our next topic is cameras and camcorders. Digital cameras and camcorders use light sensors to capture images formed by light passing through the device's length. I think that you may have seen these devices before. Traditionally, cameras are used to capture still images and camcorders are used to capture moving images. However, with the advancement of the technology, most digital cameras can now film moving images and most camcorders can photograph still images. Moving images, if not, we call it as movies, are simply a sequence of images called frames. This picture shows how the frame rate affects the quality of a movie. In the first picture, the frame rate is 60. That means it includes 60 frames per second. In the second picture, the rate is 24. That means there are 24 frames per second. High frame rates produce smooth results, whereas low frame rates can produce results that appear to stutter or jump. The quality of the image captured by the camera depends on the quality of the lens, the image processor, and the resolution of the sensor. A good lens allows light to travel through it without introducing any defects. It also allows the user to select how much light can travel through it, which affects the final image. A good image processor can compensate for poor lighting conditions. That means a good image processor is able to reduce or correct a negative effect. Usually, digital images are made up of small dots called pixels. Better quality sensors can capture more detail and produce images with a greater number of pixels. The sensor resolution of a camera is expressed as the number of pixels that can be captured. Nowadays, cameras use more than one sensor in order to capture better quality images. These sensors are dedicated to a different color or specific wavelength of light. Here you can see an image of a butterfly. One part of the image has pixelated. Pixelated is an effect that creates an unclear image consisting of large individual pixels that are visible to the human eye. The picture becomes pixelated when we are enlarging it. And the other special term which we need to know is resolution. Resolution is the number of pixels used by a screen to display an image. This table shows you the maximum display size at different resolutions. For an example, we need a display with 1280 width and 960 height in order to display 1.3 megapixel picture. Our next type of digital device is home entertainment system. Under that topic, we are going to discuss about televisions. Televisions also very familiar example for all of us. Televisions display still and moving images on a screen. The quality of the image is set by the number of pixels that are used to display the image. This is referred as the screen's resolution. High definition, if not we better known as HD. HD television screens contain a larger number of pixels, which means that they have a higher resolution than standard definition televisions. Usually, the resolution of a television screen in pixels is stated as horizontal pixels into vertical pixels. But television manufacturers normally do not specify the number of horizontal pixels. They only display the number of vertical pixels. Ultra high definition, if not we known as UHD. These television screens are sometimes referred to as 4K or 8K because they have a horizontal resolution of approximately 4000 or 8000 pixels. In this picture also you can see different levels of screen resolutions. Usually televisions come up with inbuilt speakers for the sound production. Most modern televisions can be connected to an external sound system to improve their sound quality. Smart televisions use apps and can download and stream content from the internet. The next digital device type is sound system. Sound systems can produce loud, rich sound using high quality speakers and amplifiers. Some speakers contain built-in amplifiers. Normally, sound systems can play music from CDs or from local storage. They can usually be connected to a personal devices like smartphones, media players, and tablets using wired connections like USB or wireless connections like Bluetooth. They can also be connected to a local network via Wi-Fi. Or else, some sound systems can also connected to the internet to play music stored online. Next topic is personal video recorders. Personal video recorder is a device that records broadcasted content so that it can be watched at a later date. Now we are come up with Blu-ray and DVD players. Blu-ray and DVD players connect to televisions in order to play films and other content that is stored on DVD or Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray players will usually play DVD disc, but DVD players will not play Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray disc can store HD movies, which have higher quality picture and sound. Next digital device type is game consoles. Game consoles are designed to enable users to play video games on a television screen. Games are provided on disk or as downloads from the internet. They use controllers to control the characters, vehicles or the other objects in the game. Usually, these controllers are wireless. Some consoles use motion sensors to allow the player to control the game with gestures and body movements. Other games use virtual reality controllers and headsets to provide a realistic gaming experience for the user. In virtual reality games, all movements in the real world are replicated by an avatar. Modern game consoles are multifunctional. They have apps and connectivity that provide access to local network and the internet. Now we are discussing about media players. Media players provide video and audio content to a television. This content could be a stream directly from the internet or accessed from networked or local storage. Media players can be connected to a television directly or using a wired or wireless network. They are controlled using a remote controller, or in some cases we can use some smartphone apps. The personal media player can be considered as a commonly used digital device among modern people. Personal media players are compact, portable devices with local storage to hold media files for playback. They are useful when traveling or exercising due to their small size and long battery life. In flash memory, data is stored as electrical charges held in tiny electrical cells. Personal media players use flash memory because it is not affected by being moved or shaken. The next important digital device type is navigation aids. Navigation aid can calculate the best route between two or more locations and can provide updates to the route if it is not followed accurately. They are commonly used in cars, ships, and delivery vans. There are specialist navigation aids with audio alerts and waterproof and shockproof cases are available for walkers and cyclists. Navigation aids use information from GPS satellites to determine the exact location on the Earth. GPS does not need internet connectivity in order to work, but navigation aids need internet connectivity in order to update our map. Smartphones are now replacing specialists in car navigation aids. There are many navigation apps for smartphones which have a range of features. Home automation devices and smart assistants are trending digital device types. Home automation system is a group of devices that can be used to create smart houses. For example, home automation devices can connect a range of digital devices which sense and control functions in a home. These functions can be controlled from apps on smartphones or the internet. There are many advantages of home automation. Some of them are: we can maximizing our home security, and we can increase energy efficiency, as well as we can manage all our home devices from one place. Now we are discussing about multifunctional devices. A multifunctional device is a device that can perform a range of different functions. A smartphone is a best example for multifunctional device which we are using in our day-to-day life. The primary function of a smartphone is making phone calls. It can also be used to take photographs or to function as navigation aid, fitness tracker, music player, or handheld game console. Because of that, we can consider a smartphone as a multifunctional device. Our last topic is convergence. Convergence refers to different systems that move towards performing similar tasks. Convergence blurs the distinction between different types of device. For example, smartphones and tablets. They are very similar. They are different in that a smartphone has mobile phone network connectivity and is similar than a tablet device. However, newer smartphones are getting bigger to look more like tablets. Okay, my dear children, up to now we have discussed about different types of digital devices. First, we have learned about mainframe computers and microprocessors and their application areas. After that, we have learned laptops and desktop computers, which are categorized as personal computers. Then we could learn about tablet devices. Then we learned different types of mobile phones such as smartphones and specialist phones. After that, we could learn about tablet devices. Later on, we have discussed about cameras and camcorders, game consoles, home entertainment systems, and media players. Further, we got to know about navigation aids and how they used. Finally, we understand what are multifunctional devices and what means by the convergence. So this is the summary of what we have learned in this video. Okay kids, this is all about digital device types. Here I have given some questions from the content which we have discussed so far. So I hope that you will write the answers in your writing book. At the same time, you can refer your textbook for further information. Thank you all of you, and I'll be back with a new video soon. Till then, you stay safe. Have a nice day.